So I got a DM yesterday that I never thought I would get from a woman saying, I hated the Barbie movie. It's the worst movie I've ever seen. That is the first time I've heard that come out of a woman's mouth, right? Because I think it has just affected so many women in so many different ways. And a lot of people are pointing at that monologue that has really touched most women.
Not to give anything in the movie away, but America Ferrera gives a monologue towards the end of the movie in reference to how hard it is to be a woman. And all of us, the Bert Show ladies, went to go see the movie together. So it's Katie, it's Rebecca, it's Abby, it's Cassie, it's me, and some of our BBA photogs sitting in a full line. And we're watching, and America Ferrera delivers this beautiful, passionate monologue. And I have never wooted in a movie theater, and I wooted in a movie theater. Like, she got done, and I was like, woo! And there was applause, and it resonated with me, and I think it resonated with the other ladies. And as I took time to digest the movie, which I absolutely loved, by the way, I feel like these past couple years, women have had some setbacks. For me personally, overturning of Roe versus Wade, and how the postpartum and maternity care and maternity leave, and there's just I feel like it almost feels like we've taken some steps back. And so to have this movie recognize like kind of what we're up against and validate those feelings of the yearning of equality, it was much needed for my feminine soul.
And it's so satisfying to see somebody else put something you felt into words. And I think that's why this movie has resonated with women so much, because like these are thoughts that we have floating in our heads, on like a day-to-day basis, but to see it like condensed into 2 hours was just really satisfying.
And it was done in such a way where, to me, I think it's very easy when you're talking about feminism or women's rights to come off as preachy or annoying, which isn't fair. But I thought this movie did it in such a good way. But what I really liked, too, at the end was it did give a nod to the Kens and the men in the movie as well, being like, we need to find an equal balance together. It's not us versus you. It's not you're bad, we're good. It's we all exist here together in this world, and we need to find a way where we can both exist and step into our full potential.
Exactly. And I think it was well executed of how they did this, because it was clever. It was in a way that men would also understand and be like, okay, we can see both sides of things. And that's what I really appreciated about the movie.
So often I think it's like, because you're trying to uplift women, just because you're uplifting women doesn't mean you're bashing men. Now, I will agree, there were some pot shots taken at men in the movie.
Yeah. They made us look really stupid a whole bunch of different times, but in a laughable way. Yeah. I wasn't offended. I was laughing.
We didn't make you look stupid. You made yourself look stupid.
We've done that from day one, man.
But I want people to see that, like, you can uplift women while not tearing men down, and vice versa.
And one of the things I love, too, and this I think was a misconception I fell victim to when I first started to get into my rah-rah feminism movement, was that you can be a feminist and be feminine. Like, the Barbie movie was all about loving clothes and pink and sparkles and dream houses and cars. And I mean, you can get into a talk of capitalism and overconsumption separately, but every Barbie was like a dolled up, dressed up, like makeup, cute outfit version of themselves, and that's okay. And I think a lot of people think, well, if I'm going to be a feminist, I have to eschew that. I can't love pink frilly dresses and all this, and that's not true. Being feminine is totally cool, and it's just as valid as deciding not to wear dresses.
So Greta Gerwig, the director, and America Ferrera actually worked together for months perfecting this monologue, and the ladies on the Bert Show are going to recite it for you now to maybe give you that little extra oomph for the day.
It is literally impossible to be a woman. You are so beautiful and so smart, and it kills me that you don't think that you're good enough. Like, we have to always be extraordinary, but somehow we're always doing it wrong. You have to be thin, but not too thin. And you can never say you want to be thin. You have to say you want to be healthy, but also you have to be thin. You have to have money, but you can't ask for money because that's crass.
You have to be a boss, but you can't be mean. You have to lead, but you can't squash other people's ideas. You're supposed to be a loving mother, but don't talk about your kids all the damn time. You have to be a career woman, but also always be looking out for other people. You have to answer for men's bad behavior, which is insane. But if you point that out, you're accused of complaining.
You're supposed to stay pretty for men, but not so pretty that you tempt them too much or that you threaten other women, because you're supposed to be a part of a sisterhood. But always stand out and always be grateful. But never forget that the system is rigged. So find a way to acknowledge that, but also always be grateful.
You have to never get old, never be rude, never show off, never be selfish, never fall down, never fail, never show fear, never get out of line. It's too hard. It's too contradictory, and nobody gives you a medal or says thank you. And it turns out, in fact, that not only are you doing everything wrong, but also everything is your fault. I'm just so tired of watching myself and every single other woman tie herself into knots so that people will like us. And if all of that is also true for a doll just representing women, then I don't even know. Woo!
And that's when you started wooting.
I did. That might have been the 2 glasses of rosé, but I wooed it.
It's the Bert Show.
The Bert Show.
Like what you just watched, you can get more of The Bert Show on your favorite podcast platform. Wherever you listen to your podcast, you can find us. I don't know what any of these buttons do, by the way.